Yo, how we doing, boys? What's going on? It's desk raise time. Oh, wait. It's not desk raise time because my desk broke. Look at this. Look at this peasant. Huh? It doesn't do this. The one job of a standing motorized desk is to stand. How am I supposed to stand now? Never felt so poor in my life. Is this what you guys have to do every day? That's okay though. That's perfectly fine. Just because we can't stand doesn't mean we can't still work. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Ladies and gents, welcome back. You see this desktop right here? It's the 3D animation system. The whole thing in its entirety. We are right about here. Vertex skinning, that took quite some time, right? Once that was accomplished, we flew through the rest of it. So next thing on the little list is UV texturing. I don't exactly know why we're doing UV texturing, but you guys just said to do it in the comments, so I'm like, you know what? It's facts. So, what have I been doing over the last few days? Well, I've been doing some work on a little something known as the Sigma Energy Manifestation Environment Notepad. And quite frankly, it is ready to be programmed with. Brand spanking new feel. I've changed the indentation to be only 2 spaces instead of 4 for optimal efficiency. Anyway, we're not really gonna be looking at this editor too much yet. We're gonna be hopping into Blender. We're gonna be doing a little bit of UV mapping, all right? It's really that simple. So let's just go ahead and get crack-a-lackin'. Let's just like look up a tutorial or some shit, you know? UVs in Blender. Blender Guru.
Now that we've finished the modeling, the
My
real
man.
fun can begin. Basically, UV unwrapping is telling the 3D software how to apply a 2D image texture, which you've downloaded off the internet, and apply it to a 3D model and where to put it.
Alrighty, so we add in a base color texture. What's our base color gonna be? The skin color. Oh, look at him go. Oh, hey, look at that. That's fucking terrifying. Tell you what, we'll give him some pants so he's not naked. All right, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Export. So we're doing textures separately. I'm wondering if it's just gonna literally plop our texture into a pung. Look at that, jeff.pung. So then we just gotta read that PNG in, and I'm guessing the UVs are literally just gonna be a 2D coordinate system referencing this PNG. So then we'll just take that and just go. Herb's your uncle. We have UV unwrapping. We are going to have to read in the UV data and actually get that in. But aside from that, it should be relatively easy to get this going. So let's just get cracking, I guess. Let's have a look at Ron. We're just going to completely ignore this entire material thing for now. That should be pretty straightforward. It's also just a matter of reading in the texture UVs properly. So yeah, I guess let's just do that. Let's read in the texture coordinates first, and then from there, we will read in the rest of it. So good news is we've got all the UV data in. Now it's just a matter of taking that data and using that value to look up into a texture and sample from it. We're gonna need to do a little bit of OpenGL stuff, but before we do that, we're actually just gonna need to find the PNG file and read it in. All right, ladies and gents, it's time to reach into this GLTF file and pull out Jeff. So we're looking at the URI. That'll give us a path to the texture. Texture path is jeff.png. Lovely. All right, so now that I've got the texture path, I could read in that PNG and store it somewhere. Where would I want to store the PNG? I'll figure this out next session. Figure out a place to store this PNG. All right, that's what we're gonna be doing next session. We're kind of like halfway done passing in all the UV data, so I just have to find a place to store that PNG, and then we'll be able to look directly into it. See you guys later. We'll be back on tomorrow. We'll pick back up where we left off. Bye. Lads, welcome back to another session. We're gonna be picking up from where we left off yesterday. But before we do that, it is time to create a new Obsidian Vault. I've been putting this off for a while because I haven't really thought about a good way of doing it properly. But I figured, why not just create a completely new vault, right? Arcana Digital Garden. Pick a location. If this creates a folder inside this folder called the exact same thing, I'm gonna be pissed off, all right? God damn it. I knew it. I fucking knew it. So, a lot of you are probably wondering, what the hell is Obsidian, man? Well, basically, it's a really nice note-taking system. You basically create new files, and you just write them in Markdown. So the benefit of this over a lot of the other note-taking apps is that this is literally future-proof. This way, you kind of own all your data and have it physically, instead of it being up in the cloud somewhere in some arbitrary location. That's really one benefit of Obsidian. The second benefit is something called bidirectional linking. So let's say we create this note, it's inside this note. We can actually look over here and we can see all the places this note gets mentioned and just create like a big spider web. And then we could reference note in here as well. And then we actually go over to the graph view and we'll see how everything kind of links together. So yeah, first things first, we're gonna be using a little system called Para. It's basically just a way of organizing your notes, and it divides it up into projects, areas, resources, and archives. It was developed by a man named Tiago Forte, quite the chat, and I'll give you guys a link to this in the description. It's an excellent read if you want to go implement this yourself. So that's really what we're going to be doing for the start of this little session, and then we'll finish off with the UV programming. All right, so now that I've organized everything, I've got my areas in here, Arcana, and the custom layer that we're working on at the moment, resources. Alrighty, so time to decide our very first project. Our very first project is, well, just what we're working on at the moment, which is UVs. And then I would say, actually, once this project is done, I mean, usually you would take UVs and you would put it into archives, right? But to be honest, this is more of a resource, really. I am gonna make this entire public digital garden available to members. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it. It will happen. So this is where I left off yesterday. We're trying to figure out where to store the PNGs. I need to actually figure out how I go about loading in textures. I think I do this in the render somewhere. Yeah, initialize sprite data. So now this right here would be a prime example of why it's good to have Obsidian and why it would be good to have a bunch of resources on programming. I'm going to create a new file in here and call it big old capital C. All the functions that I have to use that I just completely forget the name of and how to use. For example, str size. I don't know if it's str size, sterlen. That's it. And I think what happens is you just pass in a texture name here and it gives you a length. So then we take away 4 to chop off the PNG, something like that. Say I forgot that, right? And I had to Google it and be like string length in C. It's just a lot of clicks and it's a lot of hunting for things that I do over and over and over again. So to kind of just optimize that out, I just chuck it in the Obsidian file. And all I need to do is just look in here and I'm like, oh, it's right there. Oh, I'm dumb. I'm very dumb. I deleted the wrong fucking line. God damn it. All right, so now that I've got the texture, it's just a matter of using it. We've got access to the texture. It's in the textures folder. All the textures are getting loaded up. It's gonna loop through all these images and load them in one by one. We've already read in all the texture coordinates. What we need to do is we need to go into the sampler now and grab some of this stuff, and then we should be off to the races with OpenGL texture rendering. Alrighty, mag filter, min filter. We've got the name and we've got the texture. We've got everything we need to use this in the OpenGL rendering code. So what I need to do is figure out how to actually put textures down into OpenGL. All right, so that's the to-do. I'll see you boys tomorrow. Catch you boys later. Take care. Boys, have I got a little special something for you? Remember yesterday how we created the entire new Randos public garden? I figured out a way of hosting it so that you guys can get access to everything. None other than a fucking GitHub repository. GitLab, sorry. We don't use GitHub over here. So I've gone ahead and made Randos digital garden available to all members. We've got a nice readme over here, and it's really quite nice. It goes over my goals for this repository, how to contribute, everything you need to get it up and running. So yeah, it will be open to merge requests and whatnot. This is basically going to be a central hub for the entire community, what we're working on together, all of the current projects, all the stuff I'm doing with Arcana. That's really quite nice. That's that. Today, we're working on UVs though. The very first project. All active contributors. This is going to be my dashboard, so this is going to be where I'm working from. I guess all I really want to put here is just finish UVs. I've seen a lot of comments in the latest video have been like, calendar of your life. Holy fuck, that's grim. Those are just people who haven't come to terms with death. This is my whole life. I'm right here. I'm gonna die down here. Probably about around here, because like the average lifespan is like 80, right? It's not really so much as a grim reminder of my inevitable demise, although it is that as well. It's more so a reminder for me to just live my fucking life properly. I look at it and I go, wow, do I really want to be spending my time doing this? If the answer is no, maybe don't do that. So yeah, that's that. Now we have access to the textures, which means that we'll have access to the textures down here. Now I do need to do that actually properly once I merge with Telescope, but I don't want to do that yet because I just need to hop in a call with Ryan and do it properly. Until then, it's going to be scuffed. So I'm thinking the texture should be right. It should be down in the shader now. Test this. I have no fucking clue if I did this right. Just so I don't forget to come back to here. All right, so we're going to look down the shader, and the shader is going to be model sprite.ds. Need to put in a new uniform, which I'd imagine we can just put down here. So now all that's left to do is we run this bad boy. If it doesn't crash and give me OpenGL errors, then we should be good. Aha! I'm thinking we should be good. I'm thinking the texture should be in the shader. Have we successfully taken the texture, putting it into the shader, and sampled it? Only one way to find out. That is by hitting the run button. Will it work first time? Probably not, but we sure as hell can try. Those are a lot of OpenGL errors. It wasn't gonna work the first time. What did I do wrong? I spelled texture wrong. That's what I did wrong. Take two. Oh! Yes! It's too easy, dude. Yeah! Best try, baby. Absolutely wonderful. Celebratory sip of water right there, baby. That right there, ladies and gents, is UV texturing. So what's happening here is we're going into Blender and we are essentially just painting a texture onto this guy, right? And then that creates this texture over here. We export that. So then in the models, we have run as usual, but we also get this image, Jeff.png, and Jeff is our texture. So we take that texture and send it off to the shader. And now in each vertex, we actually have UVs here. So we then look into that texture and we sample it in the shader at those UV coordinates, and we just provide that with a color. And then that is sampling the texture and giving us this, which is pretty cool. Anyway, you guys now should have access to the Randos Digital Garden. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this started. We can go ahead and move that bad boy down into archives. And we will basically just revisit this when I need to do some more polishing on it. Yeah, that should be really good. There's been an absolute shit ton of you guys coming in from that latest video that I did on the main channel. So I just like to take the time to thank everyone who has signed up. It's good to see so many new faces around here. I'm just gonna read out all the recent members. LL Cools, Starball, Upset Shrimp, Da Enderpod, Pummicle, Wilsonoid, Jezza, Team Sesh, J-List with the 15 euro. Basically, Wiz, thanks for linking just then with Prime. And if you would like to link your account with Prime, you can head on over to twitch.tv/Randy. Link is down in the description. And then head on over to RandyGG/Prime. Get a free membership, access to all the rewards, access to this lovely new Randos Digital Garden that we will be cultivating and growing over the rest of my life, basically. I'm very thankful that you guys are literally giving me a job out of this. It's just crazy. And it's something that I'm just gonna keep doing until I die one day. We have just moved over to UV texturing. Hang on, let me just open this up. We're here now. We're right here. Next up, IK, baby. That's a wrap on the highlight. IK's up next, baby. See you boys later. Adios. Take care.